Welcome to Soho Strength Lab. We're going to talk about social health today. Social health, the social dimension of health, I should say, and how it can be either an incredible tool for your health, wellness, happiness, the whole shebang, or it can be what's going to send you in the opposite direction. So social connections, social interactions can be they can be both stressors or they can be recovery behaviors. So quickly into the stressors, because I really want to focus on the positive side and the recovery behaviors. Like if you're around people who this is, I think, obvious. If they're not supportive of you, if they are attacking you personally, things like microaggressions, just making fun of you and not like a friendly way. Like I come from a family and from a group of and I've grown up with a lot of friends where we just bag on each other a lot, but it's always in good fun and it never goes too far. And if anything, it's them trying to push you in a way that they know you're gonna get better. You know the difference of when it leans more that way or when it really is just microaggressions and it's unnecessary and they're not there to support you. The positive side to social connections, which a lot of you might know, and I feel like this has come to light a lot more because of the pandemic and all that shit that happened, that being around the people who you love, people who support you, people who believe in you, people who prop you up, it serves as a recovery behavior. It makes you feel better. And that can be in many different settings. Like for example, like whether that's sitting in your house with your roommates and they're your best friends and you guys just talk and you hang out, whether that's going to see your family, whether that's seeing your significant other. I think that as long as you're around those people and you feel like they support you and they're just a strong net for you, that's how you build resilience, because resilience is built on a scaffolding of social support. If you don't have it's tough to always support yourself. And I've been trying to work on that, being honest, being open myself recently. I've always relied on the people around me, I feel like, to really be my main form of support. And while there is, and this is kind of going off topic like I always do, on the side that you need to be able to support yourself, but those social connections are really, really helpful and really important to have. Because if you do fall, if you do trip and you need that help from people, they're able to prop you up, they're able to help you, and that's where that resilience comes from. And yeah, I think it's just a really important thing to focus on. And the reason that this came about was because it is currently, February 26th or something like that, I think. And I had a plan, and I have the plan to just go really hard for March, April, May. Like I want to get down to 10, 12% body fat, be summer ready, and have a hot girl summer, feral girl summer, as they say on the streets. And but one of my best friends, one of my best friends is coming at the end of the week, and we are going to do shenanigans like we fucking love to do. We're gonna find great restaurants to eat at, sushi and Korean food and a bunch of burgers and wings, and we're gonna do it up. We're gonna do it up. And I was beating myself up and was really stressed about how I had committed to doing this thing, and the timing just didn't line up. But I think that I would rather have one of my best buds come and see him and spend time with him, because he lives back home in Arizona, I'm in New York, and have that time with him and have that and build that connection that I had day to day. We were roommates back in college at ASU, Go Devils, and I was just so used to seeing him every day. And these last 2 years have been tough, if I'm being honest. Like I used to see that motherfucker every single day, and we would be able to laugh and cry together. And he's one of my most supportive friends. And I am really happy that I'm gonna get to see him. And I'm not gonna beat myself up too much, because I know that again, like I said, looping back around, that I would rather have that time with him and build that connection and build some resilience in that social dimension of health versus having that, he's gonna be here for like 5 days, having those 5 days to really start hard in March and get myself on track. But I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to enjoy that time, and it's going to be really nice to build that connection with him, and I can get on it, you know, as we go. I'll get as many workouts as I can in while he's here. I'll try to not eat like a complete asshole while he's here as well. Like, I'll make some decent choices while we're out. And we're gonna be walking a lot. We're gonna go all over the place and be tourists. But yeah, I feel like stressing about him being here and not eating super clean and not doing all of my workouts is going to be worse for me at the end of the day than it is to just have that time with him and enjoy it. And I think that's really the core of what I'm talking about here, is the perspective that you take. And I listened to this really, really good podcast with a sports psychologist named Julie Elion, who works with a lot of PGA guys and a lot of the top 10 PGA guys. And she mentioned that one of her guys, I don't remember who it was, but he had a tournament one weekend, and he had his mother's birthday and one of his best friend's weddings that weekend. And as they were talking about, you know, how that weekend was going and whether he was prepared for the tournament, or for the match, or I don't know, what do you call it? It would be a tournament, I'm guessing. That she brought the question up to him of why wasn't that recovery? You know, and I really, really like that. I love that she gave him that perspective, that if you decide to look at that as recovery, and that's time to fill up that tank of that social dimension and build those connections, that it's going to serve you more than help you at the end of the day. And I really, really like that. I like that perspective, and that's a perspective that I try to take and that I try to help my clients take as well. So if you have those social connections and you do feel loved and appreciated and recognized and supportive, then those social connections can help you recover more quickly from illness. They can help you live longer, drop my notes. They can help you live longer, and they can also lower the risk of disease. So prioritizing these times with the people that you love is very, very important. That's something that is not talked about enough. And the Surgeon General's, I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but like his yearly report or whatever is literally on the epidemic of loneliness in the United States. And it's happening with a lot with people in my kind of age bracket. I'm 28, gonna be 29 this year. And a lot of younger people and people in their 30s are just so lonely. And it started just before the pandemic, but it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And you can literally die from loneliness and from isolation. Like, you can literally die from loneliness and isolation. That's fucked. That's really, really sad. Like, we are pack animals. Like, but we really, really are at the end of the day. Like, you need those people to build the resilience. Looping this back to the beginning of my talk. And it's really sad that this is a problem that we're having. And I think that it's something that if you're working on yourself, working on your body, working on your mental health, having those social connections around you is something that you shouldn't ignore. That is something that you should work on as well. Because a recap of the 6 dimensions of health, if you haven't seen that video, you can watch that video here. They are physical, mental, emotional, social, existential, and environmental. A little bit out of order than I usually say them, but social is one of those. You need people around you to build resilience. And because if you don't, or if you have toxic social connections around you, you can have a higher likelihood of depression, an increased risk of premature death, and intense discomfort. Like, it's not fun to be by yourself. It's not fun to have people around you who don't support you, who don't love you, who don't validate you. That's very, very important, and that's something that you need to focus on. Just as much as you focus on your sleep, just as much as you focus on your nutrition, just as much as you focus on your lifting. Like, it's a core pillar of your health that is easy to skip. It's easy to oversee. It's like, well, you know, you naturally have friends, or you know, you have family, so like that's not something that you have to worry about. It is something that you, and I don't want you to worry. Let me change that sentence around. But that is something that I want you to focus on, that I want you to put a little bit more effort into, because even if you feel like you do have those social connections around you, if you do have friends or a significant other or your family that support you, make sure that you put time into that relationship, that you spend time talking to them or thinking about them, and like when you get busy, trying to make some time in your schedule to speak to them and to just get around them as much as possible, because it's so helpful, especially in those times, just during tough times or in those times where you're trying to get healthier or lose weight or whatever. It puts you in a better mindset. It puts you in a better mood knowing that you have those people to love and support you and to validate what you're doing is healthy, validate that you're a smart individual, blah, 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 whatever it is that you're dealing with, they'll be able to help you. And I think that it's really important that that is a focus. With that being said, make sure that you work on the social connections around you. The social dimension of health is very, very important, more important than you might realize. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos, go give them a watch. Please like, please subscribe, please comment if you have any other questions, or if you have any questions, or if you'd like to see any topics covered. Peace.